Okay, so this is a follow-up video to a video I made previously where I went over mods that I had installed in No Man's Sky. That video was recorded, and if I'm not mistaken, it was before the World's Part 1 update. But one of the things that has happened is there have been some changes in the way that mods are installed. And in addition to that, where they're installed. I've only been playing No Man's Sky for, less than a couple of years. Let me minimize something over here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Over here is my Steam profile, and you can see I've got just over 5,000 hours in. And if I was to look at my achievements here and view all of my achievements, I got my first base right around October of 2022, October 13th. So hadn't been playing for very long before I got my first base or freighter. That was probably within the first week of play, maybe sooner than that. So I've only been using mods now for a couple of, about a year and a half. And there's a lot to cover. I've got 48 mods. The last video I did had 52. So I'm going to copy some of those or talk about some of those now. Matter of fact, give me just a second. I need to get to another window. Yeah, there we go. All right, so one of the ones you're looking at right now, right off the bat, is this mod called True Black, which takes the color, a darker color of black, and you can apply that to your exosuit. You can apply it to your exocrafts. You can apply it to the starships that you build. Now, the only person that's going to see this color, and that's the thing with most of the mods that you need to know up front if you're going to, if you're interested in mods. Number one, mods will work on a PC without any problems. You may have problems with the way some mods play together. The other thing that you need to know is that you can't do anything with mods on a PlayStation, period. Whether it's PS4, PS5. And I know there are ways to do an Xbox and have mods on the Xbox, but guys, I'm not a big console supporter, never have been. I have opposable thumbs, yes I do, but they don't work good with joystick controllers on the gaming hand controllers. I just can't use them. I'm a keyboard and mouse guy. I've been playing PC games since way back in the days of Doom, and then Duke Nukem and Quake, and Unreal Tournament, and then the Tribes franchise. I was a huge Tribes player. And that's where I like No Man's Sky, because the flying mechanics are very reminiscent of Tribes. But let's get back to what we're talking about. True Black is that color. I said you can apply that to your exosuit, your exocraft, and to your starships. Now, another mod that I use is one from a guy called Exosolar, called Beyond Base Building. And what that does is it allows you to resize just about anything in the game. You can see here, if I put up a solar panel, that's the full size of the solar panel. So these are all full size, but those batteries down there are not. The batteries here are generally this size. And these ones here have been shrunk down on this side. You can see, in order for me to play. Actually, no, I'll take it back, not those ones. We'll find some here later. But, see, we'll stop off at another base because I got to show some other things here. Matter of fact, we should be able to get there real quick. Let's just go this way. Okay, so another example here of things that can be shrunk down. You can see the short range teleport and your appearance modifier. This is the size of the and I'm going to have to change my view here to this so it doesn't do that in and out zooming. That's the size of the regular teleport right next to it. Here's the size of the appearance modifier, and then the couple of big examples of resizing. There's my fish tank on top of a little pedestal. Both of those normally can't be resized. You have your aquarium, which is over here under furniture, and right here, that's the size normally. Same thing with your cylinders. I don't think by default you can resize this cylinder, and this lets you shrink it down. Another great example of resizing something for use is here. I've got my first 4 storage containers shrunk down, fully functional, everything works, but it just on top of these like server rack things. So those are a couple of examples right off of the bat. Oh, one back here that really is more evident at night is the glowing expedition decals. These actually glow, so that when you see them at night, they have more light off of this side. I can see one through the back over here, and this side is not illuminated. All right, there's another mod here called Instant Actions, which when you're like boarding your starship, or if you're purchasing something, you would normally have a delay in order for that to engage, like this right here. No delay, instantly in, all right? And speaking of which, the colors that I'm talking about, these are the blacks that are here. Normally you have these, but they say it's black, but it's not this dark gray and this dark black, all right? And the name of the mod is True Blacks and Better Grays. True Black and Better Grays. So, Glowing Expedition Decal. Slow Clouds is another mod that actually slows down the movement of the clouds to be more natural. There's another mod called what is it? Trying to find it. Well, Matt, I'll tell you what, I'll stick to the script. Let's look at movement speed, and in order for me to do that, let's go back to where I was at. Alright, nighttime's coming around, so we'll head back that way. Okay, so there's a mod here that increases my movement speed, so this is my speed as I'm moving. That's regular walking speed. This is my running speed, alright? Now there is a mod here called Calm Idle, which I'm not sure if I'm going to key, but what Calm Idle does is when you're standing still, there's less of that movement from side to side than normal, right? I wish they'd remove that entirely. Another one is the Clean Analysis Viewer. It gets rid of a lot of clutter, makes the Analysis Viewer unobstructed, all right? There's a mod here called Unpredictable Roaming Ships, and I don't know if we'll get to see it, but what that does is for the ships that spawn randomly in, you know, around your bases or a settlement, they're normally in groups of, you know, 3, 2 of them or whatever, but they fly like in a very military formation where they're very tightly grouped and they do the same maneuvers. What this does with this Unpredictable Roaming Ships mod is allows them to spawn singularly or in groups up to 5. And it doesn't matter what they do. They move. If they're 2 or more, they're all going together, obviously, in a group, but some will dive, some will climb. They just move unpredictably. Now, it's nighttime, so, and this is a planet that I can't really do any scanning on because it won't show up as red or green, but that's been scanned, so that's obviously green. And, oh, there you go, that's red, hasn't been scanned. So see, that's really cool that it's instant and that's clear of a color between a scanned and unscanned item. Another one here is called Auto Scanner Plus. If you can see when I'm flying, it shows those icons for like a grave site. What those are is actually monuments I built from my mother and father who passed, and then for our golden retriever that passed after 14 years, that these are monuments for them, but it finds them with the auto scanner, and the same thing out there with the sentinel pillar, but it'll identify, you know, like abandoned structures, it'll find portals, it'll find small settlements, it'll find all kinds of things on its own, and it's always running. Another thing that I've got here is this thing called Boost Glide, which gives me more flight, but when I fall, I can glide forward. See, just kind of glide like a hand glide almost. So kind of a cool mod. Go back over towards the base here. All right, let's see. No jetpack trails, no smoke. if I change my weapon here, oh, I can't move. There it is. Let it load. You can add an incinerator to your multi-tool, and I tell you what it's fantastic for is mining. Let me get out of the settlement and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just come right over here. Those rocks, any kind of thing like this. So definitely nice having that boost glide function. Having the incinerator is great for mining. Another mod is if I'm going to utilize a portal, I don't have to charge the portal. It just always works. If I'm building and I want to go into my build mode and turn on my camera, this removes, oops, sorry about that. This removes the distance limitation as to how far away you can move from your bases. So you can really move far out and get a view of everything. I can see my base over there. I can see this down here. I can see my settlement. All right. And then there's a plugin, a mod that gives where if you're in a storm, it removes the storm clutter from your visor, so your visor will remain clear. All right. I'm going to come over here to the Exocraft because one of the things I want to talk about is for the Exocraft, there's a mod that gives me a better scanning function. So when I scan, I can scan for closest target, for trade outpost, for depots, for drop pods, for abandoned structure, for scan for ruins. There's for alien structures, for a transmission tower, for secure facilities. You can just scan for any of these items here with this mod. Pretty nice update to the radar assembly. And man, it's nighttime now, but let's go over here and talk about this. I can use my torchlight to give us a little bit more light. So this here is a Starborn Runner skin or mod from a guy named called Alt F4. It converts the standard Starborn colors to this red and black, or black and red as he calls it. This is from the same guy, Boundary Herald, with that red and black as well. Now I have a pirate freighter and all pirate frigate fleet. My freighter is all rigged out in red and black, so I had to do the same with all my build starships. So this is a droid starship in black and red. This is with the halo wings on the back, but another fighter, same turbine front end on that. Over here I've got my, what do they call this guy? The Omega Horizon, but in red and black. Back here is my hot rod front end with the, I forget what I think those are Vesper wings. One in red and one in black. This is the Iron Vulture. But the Iron Vulture in red and black rather than the standard color. And you know what, guys? I hate to say it, but I think Hello Games kind of missed the mark with the Iron Vulture and these wings. I think it looks better with the Super Condor wings because it matches with the rest of the body, and having that lighted area illuminated there that illuminates the ground beneath you. And then when you fly it, it turns into a white ring. It looks really sharp. So I think we kind of missed the mark with that one, and it should have come out like this. So that's the 8 built starships. I also have one more over here. 6 built starships. The other 2 are mod. This is my black and red solar ship. This over here is my Sentinel fighter. Also black and red. And then way back in the corner over here is the new Wraith from the Expedition, and here is the Phoenix from the previous reward for, well, it was a thank you, I guess, that was put out. So that's all the starships. So what I want to talk about real quick is we'll go ahead and get into the Starborn Runner because that is my main starship. And I want to highlight a particular mod here that that's instant actions. I can just instantly get into and out of a starship. lets you engage with anything else much quicker as well. The problem is when you're trying to adjust values of something you're trying to sell, that gets a little tricky. I don't mind that. But the reason I wanted to do this to show you that I have a mod in that removes the tech overload. And by removing the tech overload, I'm able to install as many upgrades for the warp drive as I can. And so what I did is I had another mod that let me build my own upgrades, and you can still download that. I don't need them because now I've got all of my upgrades are 400 light years, 125%, every one of them. The order might change with 125%, but it's still 400 up in front, but it's still 400 light years. But that's it. For my Infraknife, these are all the same value as well. 42% for heat dispersion, 8% plus, or 8 plus 8 for damage, and then the plus 44 for fire rate. And all of those surround, except for this guy. And I'm getting, actually, that should be a little different. Let me check something here, because this is normally not there. It's normal up here. Okay, so there you go. 3.5 million damage per second for max peak damage, and if I'm shielded, it's 2.3 million per second. And the rest of the upgrades are what else you're allowed to snap in with the 3S class here and 3S class here to be there, and this one is allowed in addition to those, and then my 3X class upgrades for my shields. But every starship that I have, with the exception of the living ships and the Sentinels, are rigged out the same way. The Sentinel has a little bit different tech. The living ship, of course, is all organic stuff. But the range and damage, destruction capabilities are the same for all of those. I think my Sentinel ship has a greater warp range. But other than that, everything else is the same. The living ship upgrades, I have a mod for that actually increases the speed and maneuverability of the living ships to more closely match your regular fighters, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to get ready to go up into leave the planet. There's going to be a bunch of mods that really work together here very, very quickly. The first one I already talked about is removing that tech overload. When I launch here, I'm immediately going to go into a hover. This is a guy, I can't remember his name, but he makes a mod that adds atmospheric hover to every starship in your fleet. It also increases the pulse speed by 10 times. So you can move across the system very, very quick. There's another mod, faster pulse drive engage, and then another one that makes the pulse drive effects more subtle, called subtler pulse drive effects. There's another mod called better ship seat that if I switch my view here, you can see that I can see my full panel on the left and the full panels on the right. I don't have to look around inside my starship to really look to the left or right. I have a full view of those where normally you'd have to look down to see both of those, all right? So I don't need that. Go ahead and go back to this other view because I just prefer this. What I'm going to do is go ahead and launch, and I'm right into that hover. I'm going to turn and I'm going to look to the sky, and as long as I don't have any obstructions like my freighter sitting right there, I can instantly go into pulse, and just like that I'm out of the atmosphere. You can see those pulse effects were more subtle. And then I have another mod here called Crescent Worlds, which gives that kind of crescent lighting effect to the different planets here. And then there's Black Space and Nebula. And then colored rings. And not every star system is going to have this rainbow colored ring, but I think it adds a really cool element to the game. Also, there's another mod here that if I get close to a planet and I just hover here and watch, the atmosphere rotates. So you can see right up here next to this area, you can see the clouds moving past this dark spot on the planet there. So, and even right here, you can see them moving past that asteroid. So it does add that rotating atmosphere. All right. So that covers, let's see, I should better, now there's another mod here called Better Pulse Drive Aim, and if I just want to go past the edge of a planet, I can. It's not going to try to redirect you. And then there's another mod I'm still kind of iffy about that says a pulse blocking radius decrease, that it'll decrease the amount next to a planet before it allows you to pulse to it. I haven't really given that one a real chance yet. We're going to stop here real quick at this water base. Actually, we'll take it over here. Yeah. And what this one here does is, if you're got your skiff out, man, I thought I had it here somewhere. Oh, you know what? That's right. I had called it to a water planet. So let's get that guy over here. Oops, it's not there. It's here. So what this mod does, it's by a guy called Gumps, and it makes it to where if you're in a heavy storm, you're not going to be tossed off of your and I think he also has, well, you know what, I think I took that mod out. I have another one that increases the casting range, so you can throw it much further out. I'm gonna bother with that right now, but get the idea. Okay, so this next mod I want to talk about, we're going to take off back up into the atmosphere again. What we're going to do here is I'm going to bring up my galaxy map. We're going to go look for a black hole, and I want to show this mod that changes out the black hole animation. Oh, that's another one that increases the speed. That's also from Exosolar. That also increases the speed that you can move around in here. But we're going to go, not you, here. Come on, stay right there. Damn you. There we go. And this will do a couple of things. It'll show the black space and nebula. The nebula will be different colors in different systems. But this one really showcases this black hole. So there we are right in front of it. The arrival messages are shorter. So that is another mod that removes them much faster. Now the problem with that is it leaves behind a text box that as you're moving around, you can see the edges of that kind of effect. So what we're going to do is turn and move away from the black hole a little bit, and then turn around and look at it, and you'll get a better look at what that looks like once I get closer. There it is. So that definitely is more reminiscent of a black hole that you'll see like on some of the science shows or in Interstellar. And what's really cool about this is you can see the rotating accretion disk there. But as I get closer to that system, and I'm not going to be able to pulse, I'm already within the gravitational interference, but as I get closer, and that's all I'm doing here is using my thruster to push myself to where what's going to happen is the top and the bottom of the accretion disk are going to pinch in. You can see the colored rings are different here in the system, and here I've got blue nebula. We'll see what it's like in the next system, but what's going to happen is the top and bottom are going to pinch in. And there you go, and it looks like the stars are getting sucked into it now. And you can actually sit there and they kind of look like they're moving if you're sitting here for a while. So pretty damn cool effect for just a free downloadable mod. All right, let me switch here because I got to change page of this other document I'm using. All right, and then I don't know I'm sure you noticed this adds also the trails behind each engine that are normally not showing there, so that's another mod. Now what we're going to do here is we're just going to go to the space station real quick, and there's a mod here. It's going to let me get there fast. So when I can't pulse to it, what I turn, because of this pulse 10 times pulse speed, I move away from the space station, and then I point back at it, and then I can get there just much faster than me just trying to come in slowly. The reason I want to land here is I want to show a couple of the cool mods that really only work here, and that's that if I go and want to build a starship, I don't have to go and collect the parts. I can just come here to the trade station, the trade terminal here at the space station, and look, I've got all my different fuselage I can get. I can get different wings, I can get the different engines, so I can build anything they have here, whether it be a fighter, a hauler, explorer, or solar. Those are the ones I can build. And it does add a cost. You can see that if I decide to buy these things, there is a cost for them. All right. And then I just buy the S-Class core, bring everything over here. And here you can see that when I snap these pieces in, oh, I need to get some. So let's do that just so I can show the True Black mod in action. You can see how quickly I interacted with that guy there. That's the instant action. Same thing with the purchase there. So let's go ahead here. I'm not sure that I have all the parts I need. We can try. I did have the fuselage. Did have the now. I have wings, and I have. There you go. So I've got everything I need to put together another Omega Horizon. But notice here I have that black mode. I can make it all black. Now the thing that's great about that is that looks really cool, but the only person that can see this is you. Other players will just see the standard color that was applied there. But most of the time when people play, especially with No Man's Sky, you're playing solo. And honestly, who gives a fuck what anybody else is looking at? It's just you playing. So if you're playing and this is the way you want it to be, then it's awesome that the starships appear the way you want them to, rather than the standard skin in the game. So you can see that looks fantastic in black and red. Now what I'm going to do here, there's another mod. Better than doing it here, we're going to pulse to another system. Or warp to another system, I should say. And the reason I want to do this is to land at the space station. There's a mod from the guy mentioned earlier, Gumsk, and he has a mod called G-Ship Trader's Frequency. And what it does is when you land at a space station or one of the trade outposts, it makes it so that there are more starships that land at the space station or at the trade outpost, which allows you to trade more openly with them. If you're looking to buy some stuff, you can buy it from them, or you can go ship shopping because more ships are going to land simultaneously. So that's what I'll do here is I'll get out, and then we'll just sit and wait for a little bit while these ships fly in, and normally enough fly in to fill every landing pad. You can already see them coming in. So this is really cool, especially like I say, if you are looking for starships to buy. Either ship number 2, then 3, then number 4, 5's right behind it, 6 is behind that. And before too long, I'm going to have full landing pads, and I can say, wow, I really like that guy. What's he selling it for? That's pretty cool. All right. So with that being done now, let's go ahead and take off one more time. What I want to do is summon my freighter. So this is where the black and red really comes from. With the pirate freighter, you can see the rings here all in gold. All pirate fleet, I really like that black and red look. And now that I've summoned my freighter here, now see, this happens when my freighter is full. I have a mod that allows me to have 9 ships in the hangar at all times. And when that happens, sometimes I can't land my starship because there's no landing pad for me. So I actually have to physically wait till a ship... Let's see here, what's going on? He went in. How come I'm not able to get in? Forget it. It's just not letting me land. Well, if it wants to be like that, let's change the scenery. Get past these other starships. Do this. guaranteed to have a spot once it just comes in. And you can see there, got one there, have one there, over here are 3 more, and over here are 3 more. It kind of sucks when I want to have a friend join me that they don't have a spot to land, but like I say, most of the time I play alone. Now another mod is this replaces the landing pads here on the freighter with the landing pads from the space station. Back here, another mod as a freighter salvage terminal for starships on this side, and on the other side is a freighter salvage terminal for your multi-tools. Alright. There's one called Spin Doctor that makes sure that all of the spinning parts for the engines are spinning. And then once I go up here, that Exosolar's Beyond Base building lets me build ground-based stuff up on my freighter. So you can see I've got all these illuminated tiles around. And I'm retired Coast Guard, so I spend a lot of time on ships, port and starboard. Port is red. This doesn't look like green, but that is actually the green. Blue is forward and yellow is aft. My O deck is my main deck. This takes me up to the 1 deck. This is where, since I used this poster, that's like units, this is where all my money is at. My storage containers, also my refiners, and over here are my stellar extractors. On this side I have my weapons guy. Over here I have my exocraft guy in the exocraft summoning room. Gives this nice flat floor for this open floor plan. Same thing down here. This is all open. Back on this side I have my appearance modifier, and then over on this end I have a terminal that lets me manage my settlement. I can't see the status of it, but I can make decisions from here. If I go up to the 2 deck, this is my farm, and the nice thing about the farm is normally you come through here, each one of these you have to manually harvest. Oh, you know what? I need to check and see. I haven't added it. There is a mod, and maybe I'll do this while I record it, from Gumsk that gives you the harvest function at a button. And he hasn't actually released that mod yet, but there is a way that you can extract the original file, the pack file, and get the contents of it, put it in a folder, and put it in your mods folder, and we'll see if it works. We'll do that last. Alright. Let's go back to the main deck. This is going outside. You can see there's the look towards the fantail. There's all of my pirate frigates. Now, if I go up to the 3 deck, that's available on either side, port or starboard. I'm going to take the starboard side up. There I am on the 3 deck. Right here is an entrance in, green lights at the door, green lights at the door, and then I'm in my ship's bar. If I come around to the other side here, this is my port side. Walk out, there's the other red door, there's the other teleport that takes me down to the main deck, and then this one here I have 2 going up to the 4 deck. You can see stars and out in space, so this is my flying bridge. And over here is a little store, you know, a little chill area to sit with friends if you have friends join you. This is another portal that takes me down to the main deck, but up here I have an elevated viewing deck looking aft as well. That's for here in El Paso, Texas, where I'm from, 915. And that's it. So you can see what's been added and how some features are allowed to be built that aren't normally allowed here on the Starship. The Exosolar's Beyond Base building also lets you build freighter-based materials on the ground. So that's really pretty cool. Now, in addition to those, there's one that just came out called Lush Finder, and it's pretty cool because if you go up and you talk to this guy here, you can get, see, view potential, but look, you can also get a mission to go for floating islands in a lush biome, or go for a bubble biome, lush biome, or this lush room B. I don't kind of get that. But if I talk to random NPCs, they can also give me some stuff. See, no, it's not him. There you go. So you get his mission. Now there are mods, and this is what I want to show. Now I can actually bring up the browser and let's go to the Nexus mods page and to the updated thing. And right here is Lush Finder. This is the one that I'm showing right now. And you can see, you can talk to the captain and you can go to standard Lush Jungle Lush. You can go to the navigator and talk about floating islands, Lush Islands, Bubble Lush, or Lush Room B. And then other NPCs, Hue Tree Lush, Floating Flower Lush, Relic Lush, and Water Worlds. Now the problem is, you have 4 different variations to this mod. You have the standard and base scanning mechanics, which is what I chose not to get, which would actually allow the navigator and these others to work. What I chose is just this purple, exclusively searches for purple star systems. There's also another version that does deep water and requires deep seas, and then another one that'll only search for gas giants. And I'm telling you guys, it really fucking works. All right, but while I'm here, let me go over. I want to see if I can find the I don't see the G Harvest here. It would be right here. G-Fish, G-Freighter, G-Game, Supercharged, Technology Overload, Settlement, Chip, Squad. Yeah, it's not there. So let's do this. Since I'm here, we're going to go G-Harvest. Oh, it doesn't find it. Don't tell me he's gotten rid of it. There you go. So this is the mod. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and download this file. So let me get logged in. And we're going to take this file, which will work within 100 units. This one is only 8 units. We do a manual to download on that. We're going to save it, but where I'm going to put it is over on, I believe, this thumb drive. It's this thumb drive. Yeah, we're going to put it into here where the PS Art tool is at. Save that. That's really very quick. We're going to bring back up the Windows Explorer window and go to that drive and go into the PS Art 2 folder, and there's that mod. I'm going to extract it. Okay, and I'm going to take this pack file and drop it. Well, before I do that, let's get rid of the LUA. We don't need it. And I'm going to get rid of the zip file now that I have just this pack file. We take that and drag it and drop it on top of the PS Art tool. It does its magic. And then here, I've got these folders. All right, this text file, this LUA file, and the other stuff don't matter. So I can delete that. And now this might be where things go wrong. I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it G Farm Harvest. God damn it. All right, and you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to pick these 2 folders into that. Now, I'm actually in the game, so it won't let me put that in. Let me decline this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and quit the game to mode select. Now that I'm here, oh, you know what? No. I can't. I've got to go all the way to the desktop, because as long as the game is running, you can't copy mods into the mods folder. So now that it's done, I can paste that in, and you can see now I've got, oh, let me shrink that down. We'll go full screen. I have 49 mods in there, all right, with what I just put in. So now I'm going to go ahead and start the game here. And when I start it, you're going to hear 3 audible beeps here in the background. That's going to be a PowerShell script that I've got to make sure that is a fit, that affinity is enabled, and that priority is given to No Man's Sky so it has more use of cores to gear towards the game. That's first beep, second, and then third. And then, you know, I've been playing for a while, but I always do a Control-Alt-Delete, bring up my task manager, go to details, and I make sure that even I've got a 13th gen i7 processor, so I've got 24 cores. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. I've got a GeForce 4600 Ti, no, 4060, I'm sorry, 4060 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. So I have a decent video card. I'm playing off of solid state drives, an M2 drive in my storage for games where they're installed is on a solid state 2.5-inch drive. But here I will always come in and put my priority to high, not above normal, to high. Change priority, and I'm just going to get better performance this way. So now I'm going to go into that save that I was just in. And this is where things may go wrong. If that gharvest mod doesn't work, I may crash. The fact that the game has gotten this far tells me that that mod should work. But if I get a screen right here, and there it is, that mod will not work. And so you're really taking a chance with older mods as to whether or not you can extract them and whether or not they're going to work. And so that is why gharvest hasn't made it back yet. But I really can't wait for that, because what that allows you to do is harvest all of your farm stuff with a click from the emote section. You just go all the way to the left, and there's a small emote there that lets you harvest everything with one click within 100 units. But for right now, the game is hard locked because you can see, there it is. And it's because of that mod. So I know exactly which one did it. I just can't put it back in there. So this has to come out. And once that's out, I'm back to 48 mods. And then I can run the game without any problem. And that's the issue, guys. Mods will only work if they've been released after the World's Part 1 update. And more specifically, after the World's Part 2 update, I think was on the 29th of January. So at that point, anything released past the 29th should be good to go. So that includes all of the month of February. I'm going to go ahead and load the game here just to prove it that everything is good. So while that's doing it, let me go ahead and at the same time do what I did before. Bring up my task manager, set my priority to high. You can see, there I am. No problems. It was just that one mod. You can see here, these things are mounted on the ceiling for lights. So yeah, you can install just about anything you want with that. But that's showing mods. I guess I should show you that with the tech overload removed, this is my freighter. This is the way my freighter is loaded out. So you can see I have 4 upgrades for every one of these. My hyperdrive range is 124,000 light years. My warp efficiency is set for infinite. It means I never have to recharge my warp drives. Storage space is maxed out in my fleet coordination. What that number means is that if I come over here to my navigator to do a mission, oh, not you, none of the missions are going to be longer for the expeditions than maybe 20 minutes at the longest. 21 minutes right there. See, 21 minutes, then 11 minutes, then 7, then 6, and then 4. That's it. I use the No Man's Sky save editor as well, so that lets me change some of the variables for each of my frigates to where they're all pirate frigates, but some are set up more for trade, some are set up more for combat. Some are set up more for, like, if it's on an exploration mission. They're just, you can go and tweak those variables. So that's it in a nutshell, guys. I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to go ahead and warp back to my settlement. I don't stream regularly, and I'm not into streaming for the viewership. I make these videos for a brother of mine who plays on, initially started on the PS4. He's on the PS5 now. But I have a PC that I had been using previously that I upgraded the video card and gave that to him to use. And so I make these videos to kind of help him out. I have a daughter-in-law and a son-in-law that also play, and so I make these videos to kind of show them how to do. I'm not a big glitch builder. About the extent of my glitching is just flipping things upside down. These trash cans make it look as if that platform is floating up in the air because the flames still come down and the smoke goes down. So that's what I was looking for here, and that's the only thing that I did. But other than that, you can see that this is no different than what you guys are using. It's just mods kind of make things a little bit easier here. And you see, now that I pulled my freighter, all of my starships are back on my freighter. They're not out here anymore. You can see all this stuff lights up. I didn't have this running before. I was never aware of the fact that unless you have a generator going or you have solar power with batteries, that when you had a visitor come to your base, your lights would not light. Even if you go into the base computer and turn base power on and make it enabled without having to do any of that shit, it just doesn't work. So now I have that stuff disabled, and what I've got is I've got huge banks of batteries hidden around in different areas. You can see I shrunk all of these down to just make a massive power farm for me to light all of this stuff and have it last for the 20-minute duration of the day to night transition. You can see it's at 41.5. My time right now is 2:51. So another 3+ hours before daylight comes out. You can see the phytoplankton or whatever it is that lights up at the edge of the water there. And I haven't seen it this time, but another thing, and I was hoping to catch it here, that's been happening is I'm getting these weird kind of electrical anomalies that pop up on the ground, and it's just like a big burst of the kind of electric stuff you see out in space, but it's planet based. And man, if you're out here in the wild and that thing starts to happen, it comes anywhere near you, be forewarned guys, it can kill you. Because even with my tech maxed out for my exosuit, see, I'm all maxed out here. I'm definitely maxed out on my multi-tool. There is that roaming ships that I talked about, how they'll fly in different patterns, and some will land and some will keep flying. It's pretty cool. There's the colored rings you can see in the distance. Oops, sorry about that, guys. That's see, there's the two grave markers for the memorials for my mother and father. That's what that is. And then over here are my I put them here because otherwise on the pads they get run around by the fauna on the planet, pushes them off of the pads, and because the pads are elevated they end up buried beneath them. So I put them over here from smallest to largest with that guy there, and then the mech. And my mech disappeared. Let's summon him real quick because he has a mod in that is the same as this boost glide function. First, the enhanced movement does make him walk a little faster, but man, if you fly, holy cow, you can really move. And the same thing here, that now when you're flying, it's really hard to control direction. You have to literally move your S and your W key is forward, A is left, or D is right, but you really have to use your free look to kind of steer. And then once he falls, no damage, but definitely much faster to fly around that way. I don't use my mech much. I use more of my vehicles, but all of them have the upgrades to the scan functions. And with that, guys, we'll go ahead and stop this video, create a new restore point here, and just take care of that. I make, like I said, I make these videos for family and friends. I have a woman that I'm talking to on Reddit, and her and her husband play, and I wanted to get them hooked up with mods before the Worlds update dropped and all the mods stopped working. And now that things are working, I'm definitely going to reach out to them. And what I do is I zip up my mods folder and make it accessible for other people to use. My son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, and my brother, and so I'm happy to share and break it out to other people as well. Been doing this for a long time, and have made it here with my settlement. 200 people, 100 happiness, million a day. Can make money off of these guys here, and yeah, I wish they'd increase the number of people at the settlement to more than 200, or let you have more settlements. So that's it, guys. We'll call this done. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thanks for watching.